Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to FTB. This is the Liverpool post-match review show. I'm sure the knives are being sharpened out there like this. And I know that because I know my ears have been burning all evening. Stoney, been joined by
Yeah.
Stoney. Stoney, talk to me, brother. What's your ears burning too?
My ears are burning. I know. I've received a lot more messages on my phone, so I believe there's going to be a lot more chat on our live today, which is good, which is really good. So it's going to be an interesting show today, Stitches. Very
It
interesting.
will be. It will be. Just before we get into things, guys, like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. I'm Stitches, FTB Stitches. You can follow me on Twitter. Stoney, have you got a Twitter handle you want to share with the people then?
I have. It is as well. Exactly what you can see there. It's Stony Browder Jr. on Twitter as well.
Fantastic. So, Stoney, let's get right to it, bro. We've got a lot to unpack tonight.
A lot.
Earlier on we did a preview show. We were quite optimistic about the games, how the game was going to go. We seem to be hitting a fine vein of form. And then, as is typical for this season, right before the kickoff, we get a little body blow.
Yeah.
Alisson's ill.
Didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, not at
Didn't
all.
see that coming.
And before anyone gets started, because I know the knives are being sharpened out there, yeah, we're not saying we lost because of Alisson. I actually thought Keller played really well in goal today.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Kid impresses me every time he plays. But I don't know, psychologically, do you think that impacted on the team, having that news? Or they probably would have known ahead of time, wouldn't they?
I think in terms of the squad, they would have known in time. I think also the actual squad of players, they will be able to appreciate the way in which Keller is obviously stepping up to be the person in goal if Alisson is not available. Because if you think of it, prior to that, we had Adrian in goal, and now we've got Keller. So Adrian had his opportunities last season and Keller stepped in. But just going back to what you were saying previously, I actually think he had a very good game today. There was moments there he was coming out playing like a sweeper keeper. You can see that his positioning is improved. You can also actually see that there's been work on his feet. I like the way that he was actually using his feet a lot of the time to actually distribute the ball as well. So you can clearly see that he's obviously improving there in that sense. But I mean, the goal, would Alisson have done any different? Possibly. I think the first phase of the goal, Keller was over towards his right-hand side. What did he do? He crouched down towards on his left knee. The ball bobbled up, and it was just unfortunate that the way that the ball spun, that their midfielders at Altez that scored, it just spun just in front of Nat Phillips. I mean, nobody was at fault to that. I'm not blaming Nat Phillips, and I'm not blaming Keller either. It's just one of those.
No. It's not. This is not. Listen, if anyone follows me, any show that I'm hosting, I'm not on the blame thing.
No,
it's not
definitely
about
not.
that. It's about trying to analyze and understand. No one's making excuses out here.
Yeah.
Listen, first of all, let's give credit to Brighton. Just before we came on air, we were discussing their approach to the game. I think certain clubs need to just drink some Seckle juice and probably tell their managers to get their notebooks out about how to do things.
Big time.
Welcome to the stream, Pato.
Definitely big time.
Oh,
have you got Pato coming on to join us?
Yeah, we were just getting into the bones of things, and we're just about to give some credit to Brighton. There's a lot of clubs out there with a lot more investment in their teams and with a lot more money, and they park two buses and don't even make an attempt. You've got Man United with all their wealth of players and the depth of squads, and they still park the bus against us. You've got Tottenham, who, enough said about that. But these guys all came to play us, and they approached the game in a completely different manner to what I've seen from Brighton today. I just want to give credit to the fact that they pressed us from the first whistle, and they did it high up the pitch, and they looked to break on us. For me, I've just got a, round of applause to Brighton. The manager did a terrific job there. I can't take it.
Yeah, the way that they had that system set up. I know on the previous show we had spoken about the possible ways in which they lined up. I mean, they started with a 3-5-2, and he said those three centre backs today in Dunk, Burn, and Webster. Yeah, credit and credit's due. They are all three ball playing centre backs, and they just look comfortable throughout the whole game today. So you're right.
Yeah. And that's testament to them. I don't like, we can get into the bones of it and talk about how badly we played, but first of all, I like to give credit where it's due to the opposition. One thing that I picked out, I don't know if you guys picked anything else out. I noticed the fella was playing out on the left-hand side. I can't remember his name, and I was like, seen him. I've never seen him before. Burns.
Was it Burns? Yeah.
And he played him out on the left, and I wondered at first because the guy didn't have any pace. He looked like a centre back, and then I realised they were pinging the ball out there onto that left, isolating Trent every single time, and he beat him in the air pretty much every single time. And then they played off of that. And you got to give credit to the manager for picking out something like that. We just couldn't deal with it.
And he also looked injured. Did you notice? I thought he was going to go off. I thought he was going to go off. Did you not think?
Yeah, but he stayed on, didn't he? Soldiered on.
He did stay on.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. So you know what? Credit. That's one thing I picked out. Yeah, Patter. Let me come straight to you. I know you're hurting as much as I am. It's a painful thing, but you know what? We support our club, win, lose or draw. You know what did you pick out that you felt that Brighton did that we just couldn't deal with?
Took advantage. We didn't have Mane and no pace. Have you noticed when Mane doesn't play, we don't have any pace? He brings them up. I mean, we did play through the midfield a lot today, didn't we? It wasn't many long balls. Obviously, because we know they've got onto that was our strategy, wasn't it? The long balls. We won the games on that. The teams are picking up on that, especially the lower league ones. But the fight today was tonight was all in the midfield. And we lost the battle. We lost the battle in the midfield. We were just outrageous, actually. Outrageous as we were.
Yeah. Well, so
we didn't have the pace, did we?
Yeah, we were off the pace, but we're gonna come down to analysing.
I'll take that. I thought Hendo was brilliant.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna have a good game. I think I said that earlier on today.
You did. He's your man of the match.
Yeah,
and he was for us. He was our man of the match.
Yeah.
You were right. So you were right, Stitches.
I felt it would have been. And I was also right that Firmino would start. And Shaqiri, I felt that the midfield would stay the same, which it did.
Yeah.
Look, let me come to you, Stoney. Talk to me. What do you think Brighton did really well today?
I think I can only really extend on what Pato was saying as well. So with them playing that 3-5-2, they had Basuma, which was the player that you highlighted earlier in the preview show. They had Altez, who actually scored, and they had Gross. It almost seemed that they went man to man, and for some reason, I don't know, they just had a clearer appreciation of space. They pressed us much quicker. They moved the ball quicker with their 1-2s in the movement. I mean, there was a period, if you have the opportunity, or even if our listeners are, go back and watch the game at about 15 minutes in the game, between 15 minutes and about 15 minutes 20. Look at the 1-2s Brighton were actually doing in and around our midfield. We didn't get anywhere near them. And I don't think...
15 minutes we should have scored.
Pardon me?
At 15 minutes, though, we had a chance and we should have scored. It was at 15 minutes. Endo passed the long ball.
Yeah.
That didn't get to him.
Yeah, he didn't. So, yeah, I think it was the way that they were actually equipped, the way that they managed to actually move fluidly throughout the midfield. And he said, I just think they won the midfield battle. They had the 5 in there, and yeah, you just have to give credit due. I'm sorry, we just didn't have an idea today. It hurts me to say it, but we just didn't have an idea to be able to cope with that midfield that they played today.
We had no answers. Listen, you know what? We've done enough now. It's an LFC show here. We've done enough credit to Brighton. You know, our humble pie. Let's talk about our boys now, right? I see the comments are flying in. The trolls are out.
That's good.
You know, we've got a lot of people with vested interest in coming up with comments. Let me just make one thing clear before we move on. We appreciate all the support at FTB Sports. and we appreciate all the support on our shows. But if you're just in the comments for trolling and you're not saying anything constructive, don't expect your comments to be posted up. I'm sorry. That's how we run the show over here. It's my show. I got the button, and I'm not putting you on. It's as simple as that, right? Constructive comments. I mean, we take comments from rival fans. We always will. But it's got to be a talking point. This is not one of those Arsenal TV. We're going to throw our toys out of the pram and do blood fam and all of that stuff. Yeah. This is not what we do.
Definitely not.
But so without saying much more on that topic, let's go on. I think this guy here is someone I know. I think he's a Man United fan. So let's see. So Amondi, he's here. No excuses, but for the love of God, can you recognise that beyond your first 11, you are terrible? Blame your idol, Klopp. Good show, guys. Big up. Listen, you know what? Let me put that into a question that we can actually discuss and remove all the banter out of it. What we've seen tonight, I think, is just the fact that our first 11 is strong enough to beat anyone on the planet. But when we have to make changes and we're forced to rotate in a season such as this, where you need that depth of squad and you need that quality, are we lacking something? Are we strong enough? Do you think that Amandi's right in his comments here, that beyond our first 11, we're not that good? I'll start with you this time, Stoney. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I can only extend what you're saying. Every comment that anybody has is a positive because it opens dialogue. So I think, first and foremost, it's important to actually acknowledge that. I think if you think of in terms of, we obviously realize that our defense is decimated, okay? But if you think of the amount of midfield players we have in terms of variations that can actually play at the moment. I mean, we brought on Ox in the second half. I know he's trying to get his rhythm. It's unfortunate that we haven't still been able to see the best of Naby Keita since he's actually been at our club. That would have been a nice addition as well, unfortunately. I mean, Curtis Jones is still getting his rhythm in midfield as well. So we've got more than enough different variations in our midfield. Up front, we still got different variations, but something is just not clicking. We've got the squad in depth, but something's just not clicking at the moment. I mean, even with Ox, he can play in anywhere in midfield or either of the wide positions up front. I know when he came on today, he played in midfield, but something's just not clicking at the moment. Don't know what it is.
Yeah. So yeah. And what about yourself, Patter? What are your thoughts? Beyond our first team, are we lacking?
Confidence, and because the key players, aren't they? I mean, Virgil's being missed, hasn't he, in defence? We can all admit that. Definitely being missed. Matip, with Matip going as well also. But I think Firmino, for me, I love Firmino. And I think there's something not right with Firmino as well. He's lacking confidence. He's got the skills, he's got the skills. He is. I think he's lacking confidence. What do you think? You not agree, guys?
Yeah, no, I think he is. I think for me, to just deal with the comment that was made, beyond our first team, there are not many teams out there in the world that you take out their main players or you go to their second squad and they're going to be a championship squad. I think you could probably name the teams that can do that on one hand. Man City, perhaps, in terms of the wealth that they have. It's very obvious that our first 11 is a strong 11. I challenge anyone to say otherwise. Once you start taking out the backbone of that squad, we spent years with people telling us, you haven't got a spine. We've got a spine. Alisson, Van Dijk. In midfield, we've got Hendo and Fabinho. And up front, we got that forward line. Now, you take out those components, you've ripped out the spine of the team. And to think that we're going to have comparable players to come off the bench that are going to be able to be at that level, it's laughable. So it's not realistic. So obviously, our first 11 is strong. Our replacement players are never going to be on that level. What you can do is when you're replacing one or two, you can absorb that drop-off. Yeah. Right? When you're replacing 4 or 5, and that's the compounding factor that people are not taking into account. The fact that, we've had our centre-back position decimated. The compounding factor is we've had to take away arguably one of our best centre midfielders and another one to cover for it. So that has a bigger effect on what goes on in the forward play. So it is what it is. I think we're in for a season of ups and downs. We as fans have to stay patient. I can see us turning around and absolutely smashing City on the weekend, but
hopefully,
it is the way that it is. It's just the way that
you there and said about the fans. I think that's what's happening in Anfield. Anfield just rely on its fans, and they're not there. I'm not there, but they do. Our team does play. We are the 12th man. Our fans in Liverpool are a 12th man.
They
are missing that. But I'd also like to say another thing regarding Alisson not playing tonight. The goal, though, had nothing to do with Alisson not being there.
It didn't.
Yeah,
it didn't.
That's what we were saying earlier. I agree.
From the offset, it had nothing to do with the goalkeeper. That was just one of those things. And let's be honest, Brighton deserved it the way they played.
And I agree what you mean about the spine. It is.
Yeah. It's missing. That doesn't happen when you've got Van Dijk.
And I fully understand what you mean and totally agree with what you're saying. It is the bones are being taken away and the titanium is being put in instead of the bones. While the bones are getting fixed.
Yeah, exactly. So I like that analogy.
Then we take the titanium back out. We're going to be back on the roll, guys.
Yeah.
And again, it's this. We've always done it, and I don't know why. We've always done it with every manager. We play. We step up for the big games and step down.
I'm on record.
I say little games and don't like to say little teams.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
I'm on record as saying when we looked at our last 4 games after the Man United match, I'm on record, and I know anyone who knows me who's in the chats can confirm this. I'm saying the stickiest matches that we've got in that run was Brighton and West Ham.
Yeah.
And I say that purposely knowing because these are teams that, it's a free hit. They can come at us, and it doesn't matter if they lose, win, draw, it doesn't matter. So that pressure off allows them to just play. And when we play against City, we play against Man United, I don't fear because I know that naturally the boys will be up for it. They just have that extra. But it's the other way around. It's a cup final for these teams, with all due respect. So
the underdog syndrome, isn't it? You're the underdog. You've got nothing to lose. You're expected to lose.
Yeah.
So why not? Fire shots from the halfway line.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not just run at Virgil and run at any defender you're supposed to be scared of? And forward. Why not just go for it? And you will. And sometimes it pays off.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a confidence thing, isn't it? And we didn't have confidence tonight.
We didn't, for some reason.
In our own grounds. This is what frustrates me.
Sounds mad to say, but we don't. Yeah.
We've lost the confidence in our own ground. And I can't get me around that. No fans or no fans, every team's got. But then, is this the problem with all the clubs, all the big clubs, who've all lost games and lost games that they should have won? Is it because they haven't got their fans there?
I wouldn't agree with that with Man United because I think Man United fans.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, their fans were putting them under pressure when they were in there because they expected football to be played a certain way. But since their fans haven't been in there, they can park the bus and it's okay. I don't think the fans accept that when they're in the stadium. They want to see more, so they're booing and they're not cheering. So that adds pressure onto the team. But they can play with a bad.
The team who've played well without the fans.
Yeah.
Can you guess who it is?
Arsenal, Tottenham.
No. Think of a team.
Everton.
Yeah.
Everton.
I swear they have. They have played better without their fans.
Yeah. I
swear to God, the minute the fans go back to Goodison or Framley Dock, whenever it's going to be that. But they have because they have pressure off their fans. They have, and I've been to Goodison many occasions, and it's a cold. Have you been? Have you ever been to Goodison?
Yeah.
What it reminds me of St. James, Newcastle. They changed the name that many times. St. James's Park to me. But anyway, it's got that cold atmosphere. The structure, everything's cold about and it's because the fans. It's the fans. Yeah. Their own fans slate their players and everyone that they are improving without their fans. They are.
So look, let's take some of the comments because we're blessed to have quite a few people watching the show today. Let's go through the comments.
What have we got?
Did you enjoy Liverpool's football tonight? Well, didn't enjoy the result, but my club always tries to do the right thing. That's my view. You could see that the confidence was missing. You could see we couldn't find a way. We ran out of ideas. But I always enjoy the fact that we play on the front foot and we don't try and park the bus, regardless who comes against us. So that's my view on that. Thank you, Mad Beach, for the comment. Stoney, what are your thoughts on that?
I think I'll probably extend on what you were saying as well. And it's a valid point. Nice question by Mad B as well. So we clearly appreciate that. I think I just wanted to really extend on something that, Pato, you mentioned earlier about the way in which Firmino's been playing in the last few games as well. And the only thing that kept popping up in my head was with Firmino's rhythm and possibly the performances not being at what's expected of himself and also as our club. I wonder why Minamino was then able to go on loan down to Southampton. So I was thinking in my own head, if Firmino needed a break for, a game or two, then Minamino probably would have been the player to actually have stepped in that role. So I don't know.
I don't think
it's the closed doors again. I can't say but it's behind closed doors.
Fine, okay.
I swear to God.
No, that's fine. That's okay.
But and also, I'm thinking, it's a bit weird because at the minute I see the games being played as like in the training ground because there's no and they can hear their coaches on a match day. You can't really hear Jürgen. The team, that's why he has to tell one to tell the other to pass and tell, But now every player can hear. You can hear the cleaner
all the instructions.
In the toilets. Do you know what I mean? It's that quiet. You can hear the 27 bus driving past the cop. I know what you can. It's so. And this is the difference. Maybe they're hearing too much of the manager,
much information,
too much of all the coaching staff, and you can't do your own thing. I'm too scared to run into that space, or I'm too scared to drift off a bit because the boss is telling me not to. I can hear them crystal clear. On a match day, you can't, and it's just you. You've got to use your own belief and your own ability on a match day. And they do feed off the crowd. And going back to the question, did I enjoy Liverpool's performance tonight or football? On a whole, no. Some of it, yeah. But at the end of the day,
Liverpool fan,
through thick and thin, we love our team.
Yeah. Just Stoney, I wanted to just touch on something that you mentioned. You mentioned Minamino. You mentioned him as an option for Firmino. Thing is, if you look at Firmino's in his last two appearances for us, those appearances actually warrant him being picked. He scored goals, his old self. So, need timeout. I think he's getting the timeout. I think that whereas a lot of us might think that Minamino is the natural replacement when Firmino doesn't play, I don't necessarily agree. I think, or doesn't agree, should I say, because he uses Firmino, Origi more than he uses Minamino. And when you listen to his interview about why they've let Minamino go, he's talked about the height in the team. And that's something that you have to take into account because when we play against lower clubs like the Burnleys or the Sheffield Uniteds and the Brightons today, where they've beaten us or what they've used as an advantage are the towering tall players. So having Minamino in the side, we lose a little bit more height again. Which, Klopp alluded to that. In saying, we couldn't necessarily use him as an option because of the physicality.
Don't you think also, though, if we've had to buy 3 players, was there not some talk of you've got to get rid as well? You can't keep buying and buying and buying and buying. You've got to, you've got to let some players go. It's something to do with that we've brought in 3. So Edwards, go and pick who's not doing, But the end of the day, was loaned out. Didn't sell him. It was loaned out. So, do you think he's going to come back? Do you think he will come back? in the future and go straight into the first team, and you know,
that's
a possibility, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think as well, someone had to go for the 3 coming in, and possibly more coming in.
That's fair enough.
Coming in, they've got to go.
Let's try and breeze through some of these comments. What I'm going to do, we're going to fire a few comments up, and then we're going to talk around them, rather, because we're getting quite a few comments, and let me screen them through. So we've got Adam Morris with worrying signs. The last home game was against West Brom. Yeah, it is worrying, but it's nothing new. We always struggle more against the lower clubs than we do against the top clubs. Mike Webster, Brighton did to LFC what they did to Spurs. Brighton smothered the LFC, impressed well. Basuma's a powerhouse. I agree with some of that. That's true. What else other than trolling comments? Let's see.
Yeah, but they have confidence. That's another thing we forgot to say today. Look, they know they beat Tottenham. So imagine the buzz they were feeling coming in.
Off of it,
tonight. No,
and it was 3-0. Was it 3-1? Was it 3-1 against Tottenham or who else? I don't know. What do you think the next steps is?
Tottenham 1-0, they beat us 1-0.
Did they?
Just need that 1 goal.
What do you think the next step is tactics-wise? It seems to be that teams at the foot you recently struggled against. I don't know where recently comes into it. We've always struggled against the lower teams. So let's get that straight, right? The lower teams always give us more problems than the top teams, right? We all know this, right? And that's because in this country, it's acceptable to play a certain way. It's seen as a victory. Other cultures don't accept it as much. Others do. In England, the lower teams are allowed to approach a game. Not to say Brighton did tonight, but traditionally, lower teams can approach a game in a certain way, which is why it surprises me when the likes of Man United and Spurs, etc., apply the same tactics. So it is what it is. Next steps, tactics-wise, is let's get some of our actual spine back. Let's get some of our team back, and then let's see if playing against the lower teams is a problem. It clearly wasn't last season. We played everyone, beat everyone. So
exactly.
I don't know much what to say about that, but it's this season we don't have those same players. So I feel FSG have pulled the purse strings. Look at the latest signings on deadline day. These are the signings champions should be making to defend their title. First of all, my comments, and I'll come to you guys because I feel like I'm talking too much, but it is a COVID season. Everyone's financially strapped. Sharon, you mentioned the fact that you have to, the way we've always worked is we shift players on, we make money, and then we make signings. We haven't been able to do that. So all of that is at an impact. These are not the signings that champions make. We have a process. We follow our process. We needed centre-backs. We got centre-backs. I don't think it's a case that FSG are tightening the purse strings. FSG don't generally pump money into the club like money bags, sugar daddies. They don't. The club generates its own revenue to spend and make purchases. That's how we've always been. So throwing up these accusations now, it's nonsense because it's the way that we've always operated. So, that's my feelings on it. What do you guys think?
Well, we talked about this today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And I mentioned that. I said, again, that you just said that's your opinion, and I said that's my opinion. Yeah. Do you know what? It's called the January sales for a reason.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's true.
And also, January sales. Some managers won't even bother.
Yeah.
They won't get out the bed for the January sales.
Yeah, it's true.
I ain't queuing at the door.
I also think it's...
Keep it, have it. January sales, the cracker, within the cracker. There's a Christmas cracker. And I'm now getting them presents that you get at Christmas that you didn't really want.
I know.
Like the players we had to buy, but we didn't really want it. I feel the January sales a bit like that. Let's get rid of those players
before you bring in. Exactly. You know? I still also think that we've got long-term targets as well, or targets that we will actually make sure feature or come into our club at the end of the season. Look, let's be realistic, all right? How much did we pay for that loan for Ben Davies? Was it £1 million? In football, in football terms, all right? I'm only talking in football terms because in normal terms, this is a lot of money. £1 million is a lot of money. But in football terms, that is absolutely nothing. you can actually have youth players actually have £1 million just signing on fee. All right. So worst case scenario is Ben Davies is unsuccessful at Liverpool. I don't wish that on him. You know, I want him to be a success at Liverpool. But worst case scenario, even if he is not successful, what is £1 million to a Premiership club team? It's nothing. So I mean, in terms of us bringing in players during this transfer window, as Pipe 71 was really saying, these two, everybody knew we needed defenders. We got the defenders in, and that's the main thing. As you said, we are not a club who rushed to actually purchase players. These were extremely strange circumstances, so it's a stopgap. You know,
also,
so you know,
we've got players playing out of position. So the minute we can fill the centre backs, you stop them to right in, get the formation back to where it's supposed to be.
Thank you.
That's probably another problem, isn't it? We've got players who are playing out of position, feel uncomfortable, aren't confident, but are getting forced, and they are being forced to play in a position that they don't want to. And just going back, settle back in. Sorry, Stoney.
So just to enter, because Pipes mentioned something there about the amount of money that champions should actually be spending on players. I could be completely incorrect here, okay? But I think in terms of the Premiership teams, the club that spent the most during this transfer window, and that was a pre-arranged deal anyway. I think was it Manchester United for Diallo. And that deal was sorted out. That deal was sorted out ages ago anyway. All right. So in terms of that was the most amount of money. So I mean, in terms of that, as you said, it's strange in terms of finance. I wouldn't want us to be breaking the bank for anybody at this period of time, and I'm comfortable with the purchases that we've actually made in the correct positions.
Yeah. So next comment was 3 years of playing high octane football will always have an effect. This is what happens with Klopp and Pep teams. I think my view on this is what happened with any top team that's played high octane football for 3 seasons. You have to have a down. Once you reach the top, there has to be a down. So just to try and localize it to Klopp and Pep, I think it's kind of a compliment that you're mentioning those two names, because I can't think of another manager that's done it for 3 seasons in recent times. You know, so you've answered your own question there, Mad B, I think, to be honest.
It's almost a compliment as well.
Yeah,
that's what I think. So thank you, Mad B. It's a compliment.
Yeah. West Ham are higher than you lot. Why is it a free hit for the Hammers? Mad B
done a good one before, and then that one.
Geezer's got a Mourinho photo that says it all, man. Like you're promoting the Antichrist. Anyway, do you need to refresh your front row forwards like Klopp refreshing his front row of teeth? That's quite clever. I think what it is this. We are going to have to refresh our front three at some point. They're at the peak of their powers. It's and I think that's part of the reason Klopp signed a new 5-year deal not too long ago. He's there for the rebuild. And I think that we're going to start doing that. Jota may have been the first piece in that puzzle. There are other players that we're being linked in. Not saying it's going to happen, but there's talk of Mbappe. There's Haaland being linked. At some point, we're going to have to make a decision whether to stick a bust with the guys that we've got and sell them for the biggest fees that we can in order to rebuild the squad. That's going to happen. Do I think that moment is right now in a pandemic season with everything as it is? I don't necessarily think
absolutely no way.
However, in the next 2 seasons, we need to start considering it. And I'm sure that we are considering it. That's my view on it. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Pato, in terms of refreshing the front three?
Of course, that's always, you should always be refreshing every so often anyway. Come on, we need to look at our youth as well. We've got a good youth foundation. So, our under 23s, 19s, 18s, so on. bring, you know, we're supposed to bring.
And we've also got Harvey Elliott out on loan down at Blackburn. He's doing nice there out on loan. So I'm not saying that he's going to come back in and get straight back into the squad, but in terms of his development and also how he's been progressing or playing or featuring down at Blackburn, that's something, an opportunity for the future as well. And as you said, he plays either the top right forward or the left forward as well. So, you know, there's something for the future.
Okay, so another good question here. Do you think success has killed some of the hunger? No, I just feel like with us, we have been like, we've been called mentality monsters. And listen, this team went to a Champions League final and lost it in the most painful way possible.
Yeah.
And what did they do? They went the next season and won it. Right.
Thank you.
This team broke records, right, and lost the Premier League title by the most tiniest of margins. What did they do? They went out there and won it the next season. So don't question the mentality of these players.
Yeah,
we're just in unprecedented times.
Exactly.
Right.
The pandemic killed the hunger.
Why does it seem to me?
Killed the hunger.
Why does it seem to me that people want to ignore the fact that we've got such terrible injuries? Yes, everyone has injuries, but the whole spine is decimated, right? It is unprecedented. Like, it's not like, I'm shocked that we're even still in the top 4 conversation, given what we've gone through. That's me personally.
Yeah, but stitches about, did we say today? Look at Southampton. Changes last night. It's not just it's everybody, and
it's everyone. It's everyone.
Also, you know.
And my thing is this:
I see what the damage it does to the communities, to the world.
Exactly.
It's an effect on everyone, everybody, every family, every soul.
And the reality is this. Right?
But at least we're still playing football. At least be thankful for that. Be thankful. We're still able to have football, and we're able to do this on tour.
Yeah.
So Trollo saying we're gonna finish out the top 4. So what I've noticed about fans in general is that they're quite knee jerk. It's very knee jerk. You know, Spurs were going to win the league a few games back.
Know.
You know, it was Chelsea, then it was Leicester. Now Man United won January. They won the Premier in January, right? Man United won it in January, right? So all of a sudden, everyone's like, everyone's got a crystal ball. Everyone is a future reader now. Like, can you tell me the lottery numbers? Like, we're not going to finish in the top 4. Behave yourself, right? There's so many games still to be played. Now,
where's he from? What fans here?
I have no idea. But Trollo, thank you for the comment. But you know, Liverpool to finish out of top 4, I don't see it. But you know what? Right now, as a fan, I'm not even looking at top 4. I'm literally saying next game.
Yeah,
right?
Thank you.
The thing for me is we're in a race. We're in a race, right? The race is how quickly can we get our squad back together again? Will we do it in time to have enough matches in order to get on a run? That's the question for me. Forget winning the league, forget top 4. The injuries are affecting us. How soon can we get our new centre-backs settled in and playing so we can free up Henderson and Fabinho and actually get some semblance of control back into games? The sooner we can do that, the more likely it is that we're going to finish in the top 4. The longer it takes us not to do that, the longer it's going to be whether or not we can make it into the top 4 or challenge or anything else. So for me, it's just the next game. Can we get a stronger squad together for the next game? Are we going to be able to play a stronger squad against City? You know, it's as simple as that. You know, so that's my views. Stoney, what are your thoughts? Top 4 out of the picture or still doable?
No, still doable. I'm not even thinking of us finishing out of the top 4. So thank you very much for the comment there. Trollo, just to answer your question, Liverpool to finish out of the top 4, I disagree with you. Yeah.
Okay.
And
what about yourself, Pato?
I totally disagree. And we're still on target to win this. We'll probably win City on Sunday.
I can see us doing it.
Yes.
Yes. And that's the beauty of football.
That is the beauty of
Nothing's
football.
over.
Yeah.
This has been the most. I've never known a season like it. Have you? Have you?
No.
Never.
I've never
Never.
known a season like it.
Never.
It's mad. It's a mad
It
season.
is. But I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So Mad B's back again. I mean, he must be called Mad for a reason. What's worrying is coupled with your away form this season, and now 2 home defeats to relegation troubled teams. Top 4 is definitely under threat.
Wow. Do you see what Mad B? Thank you very much once again for placing a comment in the chat. It's beautiful. We appreciate that. Look at the benchmark that Liverpool have now created for other teams also. Okay, he mentioned we've lost 2 games at home, and it's almost as if people think it is the end of the world. Isn't that a benchmark to have created and sustained? Goodness gracious. No concerns, my brother. No concerns. We're comfortable. We're very comfortable.
I'll tell you what. One thing is this: whether my team makes top 4 or not, guess what? It's still going to be my team, and I'm still going to give it to you. I'm still going to be here doing my previews and my post-match. It makes no difference. LFC, I ride till dead. You understand? Like, I'm not here just for the trophies. I'm not here just for the trophies. My team. It's like saying you're in a relationship with someone, and just because they're going through a rough patch, you're gonna just like dump them, leave them to it. It's not how it works. It's a marriage. It's not a one-night stand.
Grass is greener on the other side.
Stitches is lovely. We can see a comment there. If you could just put that comment back up from Pipe 71, please. At all. They just. Oh, this is wonderful. So this gentleman supports Spurs. Okay. And Pipe 71 is wonderful that you're commented. It's also wonderful that you're still actually viewing this. And if anybody else is able to do this for me, Pipe 71, you are actually on the internet. So you've actually got documentation of you being outside White Hart Lane, speaking to a correspondent from the Netherlands, okay, in adulation when you appointed Jose Mourinho at Spurs. Okay, you have footage and you're thoroughly aware of that. Okay, you were amazed. You used every form of celebration and appreciation, a word for him being there. And yes, you were speaking about Spurs doing something this season and also pushing for the league and honours. Okay, as I said, you have documentation on Google. All right.
Listen, we appreciate all the commenters on the show. Thank you. You make this show, to be honest. You know, we do want to pick out the bones of the performances and whatnot, what was good, what was bad. But you know, the comments kind of drive where the show goes. Please hit the subscribe button, and you know what to do. You know, follow this show. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. We're not done yet. Still a few things to talk about. Guys, what is your feeling right now? If you could give a message to the LFC family out there and the LFC fan base, what would your message be to them right now tonight after this result? Because a lot of them must be hurting right now.
Just to keep the faith, stay strong.
Yeah.
The battle isn't over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're only just over halfway.
Yeah.
What is it? 2 games over halfway, is it? Something like that. There's more work to be done. We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Love that. Love that. Stony B, what you got?
I can only extend on what Patrick.
Sorry.
Okay.
One last thing as well. Some of the other teams above us are going to have more games to play.
Yeah.
Champions League's coming back soon.
To play. So let's see when the crunch time comes and the tired legs and they could have more injuries than us. But let's see. Some teams have always sort of got on our case when we've moaned and said it's too many games in that week. Teams are now going to feel that for the first time. So let's see these next coming weeks. Let's see. See March. In March is going to be. You're going to see bit of a shift, I think. We're going to see a little shift in the top of the league in March.
Yeah. So Stoney, what are you saying? What's your message to the fan base?
to our fan base, just to extend on what Pato was saying as well, look, keep the faith. I think if anything, you know, it's clear, and it's not just LFC fan base that are actually saying it. It's clear to see, okay? Our injuries have had an impact on us this season. So in terms of the way that players are playing in different positions, it could almost be a transitional period from us for this season. And if it is, then so be it. I think the main thing for me, and we've actually shown it, the last few years, we have shown that we are moving in the right direction and progression as a club. And I'm comfortable with that. Still love LFC. And yeah, we're calm, we're fine. Nothing to worry about at all.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess my message to the fan base is that a lion does not concern itself with the prattling of sheep, right? So I know what hurts the most is the banter from these lesser fans. You know, that's what hurts, right? Yeah. Water off a duck's back. Yeah, let them crow, let them get gas, let them get happy. It is what it is. You know, when a top club loses, all the hyenas start chattering. You know, you hear it all. Let it happen. Well, let it wash over you, because you know brighter days will come. You know what I mean? We know why we're where we are. We've got a great manager. They'd all love to see the back of him. They'd love to see the back of him. Any fan that tells you they wouldn't is lying. And if we saw the back of Klopp and they heard that Klopp was going to their team tomorrow, they'd be out in the streets throwing parties. You know, so listen, we're in a fantastic place. We've got unfortunate circumstances right now. It hurts. We're fans. No one likes to see their club lose in the way that we have been losing recently. But, you know, these moments make the victory sweeter. So that when we win...
An impressive physio. This is my thing.
I was coming to that. It's good bands. Mad B.
Oh, God. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Get a better physio.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Strong. That's strong. That's a strong comment right
I know.
With that being said, we're coming into the 45-minute mark. I think it's time we probably wrap it up. Any last words from yourself, Stoney?
I can just really just extend on saying, I said today was a mixed day for us. I think it was mentioned at the beginning of the show by yourself as well. Sometimes you just have to give credit where credit's due. Brighton played really, really, really well. And yeah, look, we'll bounce back. I've got no concern. So yeah, mixed day. Dust our shoulders off, and we just look forward to playing City over the weekend. Exactly. Let's just dust it off. Looking forward to City over the weekend. Hopefully we'll get some positive news on when Jota will be able to return to the squad.
Yeah, he's back in training now, isn't he?
Yeah, that's wonderful news. So when he'll be able to return to the squad, and hopefully Alisson's illness doesn't keep him out for too long as well. So I think that's the main thing there.
Yeah, nah, big up. Thank you, everyone. Listen, I want to end the show by just saying, look, thank you for everyone that tuned in today. You know, there'll be much more preview shows, much more post-match shows, and we'll be doing this. We appreciate all the comments that were kept respectful, even the ones with a bit of banter. We don't mind.
That's fine.
It's all good. I've been FTB Stitches. You can follow me on Twitter, Insta, you know, all the socials. I'm there. You know, big up Stoney for being on the show. Pato, excellent analysis and everything. We love it. And, you know, you bring that authenticity, if I can get the word out, the Scouse accent, because we've all got South Scouts, you know, we're the proper original Scouts. So thank you for bringing that flavour to the show. And you know what? Big up. This comment I saved it till the end because you know, big up and respect to Zacchaeus Phobes. You know, not a great start to the show because it's our first one today, but hopefully better days will come post-City at the weekend. I don't say post-City. Yeah, you know, City is the starting. It's the genesis. It's the genesis. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it all, and we'll see you on the other side.
Brilliant.
Yeah, can I say one thing before we go?
Go for it.
Yeah, Stoney, I've been asked by one of my friends, are you single?
FTB matchmaking.
That's crazy, isn't it? FTB matchmaker. Just to answer to your friend, I'm in an absolutely wonderful relationship, so I'm not single.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. Respect.
Good night, boys.
Respect.
Okay.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
See you on
Bye.
Monday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.